Hey mama, come in, grab a drink. Oh my God, what a week. The reason I've started my podcasts with that intro now is because I feel like, you know what's missing in my life? What's missing in my life is the weekly catch up with the girlfriends where we come over, we've got all our kids around, the kids are watching TV, we've chucked on a movie, and we can just be ourselves and relax and just let it go, speak about it all, and just be comfortable, just be ourselves. We're all helping each other. It's the village. It's the moment where we go, you know what? I'm chopping up snacks for the kids while you're pouring us a wine. I will get the kids bathed while you order the pizza. I just want us to feel like every time you chuck on one of my episodes, I want you to feel like you've come over on a Friday night and there is no pressure. We're having drinks. We're having fun. Our kids are there. It's all, we don't need to organize babysitting. We don't need to organize any of that stuff. And you don't have to feel uncomfortable or awkward that you've brought your kids along with you because my kids are there too. I just want us to have that kind of vibe when we get together. So I hope you've poured yourself a drink. If you haven't, pause it and go and pour yourself a drink. And I hope you've come back with a drink in your hand so that we can just chill out for a minute and have a heart to heart, because I'm needing it. I'm really needing it. What I want to talk about today is just how disempowering it is, this idea of women being able to do it all. And that sounds so contradictory. It sounds so contradictory because I know we can do it all. Don't get me wrong. I know we're very capable of fucking doing it all because we've been doing it for such a long time. I'm sure if there's an odd man listening, they're going to say, well, you don't do it all because we're out there doing this, this, and this. I know you are, and it's extremely valuable. But what I'm talking about is women for such a long time have been expected to, at any given moment, be able to do it all, have the capacity to do it all. We don't have the option to throw our hands up in there and go, too hard, can't do it, need to pull someone else in to make things happen, or too hard, can't do it, I'm going to have to just leave this for someone else to do. We don't have the luxury. The ability to do it all for me means, being able to not only physically get everything done that needs to get done around the house, in your work, show up to work dressed well and with your brain in gear. It also means having to be across everything, the mental load. And a lot of people laugh at the idea of the mental load because they don't actually understand the weight of the mental load. The mental load can be so incredibly heavy that there is not a second for your brain to catch up with. Just functioning, just calmly functioning. Having a moment of mindfulness is extremely difficult when you have to be across the kids' lunches, the kids' appointments, telling your partner that it's the mother's birthday, having to plan ahead for not only what's today, what's tomorrow, but the week after, being mentally across absolutely everything that's in every cupboard, making sure that we've got what we need for dinner and for lunches this afternoon, making sure that, the medical appointments are up to date, that the medication is up to date, that immunizations are up to date, that there is just, and I don't even feel like I'm doing it justice right now because off the top of my head's blanking right now. It is just a constant. There is so much in my head right now that it's a fucking miracle that I'm actually focusing on this conversation, to be honest. Doing it all really doesn't mean, this mythical concept of this woman who is just all well put together and just has everything in order. Doing it all literally means running yourself into the ground, literally means having to be across everything. And so when a woman is applauded for doing it all, I almost feel like there is this reinforcing that just because she can do it all, that she should do it all, because having the capacity to do it, the capability to do it, doesn't mean that suddenly you have the responsibility to do it. And the problem with that is if she's doing it all, someone else is not. Someone else is doing less. And it's not about fairness. It's about mental health overall. It's about actually being capable of staying afloat. If you are just barely staying afloat because you are doing it all, if you're across it all, and on top of it, you're being applauded for doing it all, this sense that women have so often of like, I'm just staying afloat and sometimes I'm not even staying afloat, is exactly why so many mums struggle day to day. There are a lot of both mental and physical health issues attached to constantly trying to stay afloat. So no, doing it all is not an empowering concept. The ability to do it all is not empowering whatsoever. Actually, it leaves women exhausted. It leaves women exhausted and it leaves others leaning on her way too much. It's actually extremely draining to suddenly be in a position where people think, well, that's okay, she's got this. Because there is no fallback. You have to have it together and you have to be able to pick up the pieces even if you're too broken to be able to. That is an extremely draining position to be in. These days, in 2026, I think women are being praised for surviving instead of being supported to survive. If a woman appears to have her shit together, which again, let's bring highlight real culture back into it, because we are all doing our best to stay afloat. And on top of it, we're all doing our best to appear to be staying afloat, to appear to not to be struggling. I think there's so much that is celebrated about that and that is praised about a woman who's able to do those things, that the focus moves away from how do we support a mum to be able to function. Because really, like, even when I'm saying that, it sounds a little bit like, but hang on, why is it that we're focusing so heavily on supporting a mum to be able to do those things? Why is it that mum has to be doing all those things? Why is it that a woman has to be across all those things? That, I think, comes right back down to the default, right back down to, let's even bring patriarchy into it. Like, that comes down to the fact that for a patriarchy to function, like I've said in previous episodes, the foundation of invisible labor, of default parenting, of mums and women who basically take on a load that no one else can, basically women taking on a load that is whatever's left behind, whatever's left over out of the way that the world operates in order for patriarchy to thrive, that basically leaves women at the bottom with mountains and mountains of responsibility, with no support, and praised for it as a way of almost saying, good little doggy, well done, keep doing what you're doing. There's something really patronizing about celebrating someone who's seemingly doing it all and not stepping back and going, hang on, that's not right. This person shouldn't be in a position where they're doing it all, because eventually they're going to crumble. Like, anyone can see that someone who is barely keeping their head afloat, trying to raise children, be the backbone of a family, bring in money, have a career and do it all seemingly with their head screwed on really tightly, is not going to have a good outcome long term. I think at one point historically, when we started talking about the ability to have it all, and I'm not against women working, please don't even go there, because that's not what I'm saying. But the concept of having it all, the concept of a movement, a feminist movement that allowed us to be able to have choice and control over our lives, which I back entirely 100%, and I've said this before, this has all happened within a patriarchy, right? So because it's all happened within a patriarchal system, at the end of the day, the having it all still means that you're doing it all. No woman is stepping out of the role of, the traditional role to be able to step into the role of being able to thrive in other areas of life. Having it all literally means doing it all, literally means what we've done to keep the base of the patriarchy operating, and also doing the additional bits to feel accomplished, the additional bits to be able to contribute to society, to be able to continue to make the world a better place. And I think that's the danger of this idea of having it all. And obviously I support it 100%. Like I said, please don't ever twist my words and describe me as not in favor of feminism and the movement and everything that it has done and continues to do for women and for society, not just for women, for men as well. At the end of the day, this still exists, like I said, within a patriarchy. The moment that system can change is the moment that, maybe we can have it all, because outside of a patriarchy, there is support for us to do everything. There is support for everyone. Everyone can thrive. I think so many women feel like they're failing, even though they're just literally doing everything and trying to do so much, because there is a glass ceiling. I think there's a massive glass ceiling, particularly for mums, because at the end of the day, when you are the default, there is always something pulling you back. And I'm not implying that every single mum is the default parent. Obviously, there are men who are the default parent. There are, different relationship dynamics. I understand that. But I'm saying in general, as women, in general, collectively, women tend to play the default role in parenting, tend to play the default role in the home. Interestingly, we're not in 1956, but it seems to be, no matter, in most places that I look, in most of my friendships, in most, when you look online and stuff, without a doubt, there is this default in the home. And so when you are playing a default in a parenting capacity, a default in the home capacity, ultimately that takes up so much of our time and so much of our mental energy and so much of our entire energy that the ability to step beyond that becomes very, very difficult. So at the end of the day, there is a glass ceiling. And because we're putting on a brave face trying to show how well we do and how capable we are of doing it all, it's almost like we're reinforcing this glass ceiling. We're reinforcing the fact that by me having a tidy home, by me trying to have everything in order and then making attempts to grow outside of that, those things cannot fall apart. And once those things fall apart, then I feel like I'm failing. And I think that's the reason a lot of women feel that they're failing, is because they don't see dropping the ball as a good thing. They don't see the fact that something's got to give. And it has to give. It has to give. The moment you can accept that your home is not entirely your responsibility, you can step outside of that domain and actually, I sound like I'm talking to women in the 50s. It's blowing my mind when I'm saying these words. But honestly, the moment you can step out of that environment and just go, it's actually not my responsibility. I can contribute to it. It's my duty as someone who lives in a household to contribute to it. But it's not my responsibility. It's not. Even if I'm a stay-at-home mum, that's probably one for another day. Because how many stay-at-home mums I've heard. Honestly, I've heard interviews with guys who are like, well, she's at home all day making a sandwich and just chilling with kids. Obviously, I expect her, to be on across the home while I'm working my ass off at my job. Like, I'm not trying to downplay how hard work is, obviously, because I work as well and I have worked in the workplace as well. But I'm just saying, like, there is such a misrepresentation or misunderstanding of what it means to be at home with kids and to do it properly and to do it well, that anyone who thinks that a stay-at-home mum should be able to be across everything else as well is completely oblivious to how challenging and time-consuming it is to be properly supporting your children. So I guess after thinking all of this, when it comes to, empowering women to say, we can have it all, we can do it all, what really is empowering for me, if I'm completely honest, as a woman, and I'm not relying on others to empower me so much as collectively as women, collectively as mums. I feel so empowered when resting is celebrated. That sounds weird, but I know. I feel so empowered when prioritizing mental and physical health is celebrated. And I never used to think that way, because I used to be like, oh, what a privilege to be able to have some time to yourself. The rest of us, no, like that is so messed up. I feel empowered when I am applauded for putting time and effort into my goals, and when the remainder of the tasks that I've dropped the ball on are not of concern. My husband, for example, I have to give him a lot of credit for this. When I was made redundant last year and I decided, instead of applying for jobs immediately, that I was going to dedicate myself to my creative goals, the podcast and my YouTube channel primarily, I at some point seriously felt like I was being so selfish and so not supportive of my family. I felt like there was this huge immaturity to what I was doing, because times are tough, because my husband works constantly and we have kids, and here I am working on my goals. And I have felt so bad so many times where I would be dedicating a day to working on these things, dedicating a day, for example, to planning a podcast or posting online, and my home is not perfectly in order when my husband gets home. And what blew my mind one day was receiving a beautiful text message from my husband being like, I can't tell you how proud I am of you, that you're just so focused and dedicated to your goals. The fact that our kids are seeing me doing this is such a huge gift for them. And I was like, oh my God, in my mind, I'm thinking, the poor guy is working nonstop, has basically said to me, don't worry too much. Like, just take your time. If you really believe in this and you really want to make it work, go for it. I'm here to support you, and we'll just basically go as long as we can until applying for a job is becomes needed. He never, like, in the meantime, he was never like, but the expectation is you're across the home. That's fair's fair. I'm out working constantly. Like, he works 7 days a week, like constantly. There was never a question of what I should be across. This is all internal guilt that I feel. It's all frustrations that I feel of my own. But it was a bit of an eye-opener for me to be literally ditching what I thought I should be responsible for since I'm at home, dropping the ball big time on those things, focusing on what I want to be focusing on, spending my time on those things, obviously looking after my kids, throughout as well. Obviously, I'm a mum and I'm very present and very across my kids' needs. But I'm saying, not going out of my way to have a spotless home or all those things, because I was using all my free time, and I am still using all my free time on my creative goals. For my husband to be applauding that, for my husband to be applauding, to be encouraging me to go out and get a massage or go and do exercise. And when I do that, he doesn't make me feel in any way like I am, oh, lucky you, lady of leisure type thing. It's very much like, good on you. I'm really, really impressed that you're able to do those things. What a great thing for our kids to see. And that to me is so much more empowering than being told you've got this, like you can do it all, you can be across it all, because it's not true. First of all, we all know it's not true. By now, you know how I feel about highlight reel culture and how it makes women feel like everyone else seems like they're across it. And at the end of the day, no one really is. No one truly is. It is a depiction of real life. But I know very well that I am able to chase my dreams and my goals, but also at the same time not expected to be across the home in the way that I imagined I would have to be when I'm not, when I'm a stay-at-home mum. In all honesty, I think a healthier version of motherhood is really about living your full self. It's not about doing everything at all. It's not about having it all. It's about just being true to what it is that you feel makes you you. And if that is the complete homemaker, that's not me. Like, I'm shocking at cooking. That is, if that is the complete homemaker lifestyle and that is entirely fulfilling to you, you should be supported and encouraged to live out that lifestyle. If your goals relate to creative pursuits or a career path, or you don't even know what it is yet, or you want to spend time exploring the world, you don't have to have this mapped out, what do you want to be? Like, who cares what we want to be? If you know what you want to be, fantastic. If you are in a season of your life where you're like, I thought I was going to be X, and now I've had a bunch of kids, and I feel like my life is currently in a moment where actually I just want to enjoy my family and I want us to travel and I want us to do, I don't know, a road trip around Australia or whatever it is, then go and do that to the fullest. Because I think the worst thing about this doing it all or being able to have it all concept when it comes to mums is that it also places a lot of judgment on women who are really choosing to emphasize a part of their life and hone in on that part of their life. If you are choosing to make your career the pinnacle of your life, in order to be able to do that, you have got supports in place. You are, paying a nanny, for example. You've got a lifestyle set up that supports you to do that, and that makes you the best version of you, then that's going to make you the best version of a mum as well. That's my belief. I honestly believe that. If you are, like I said, entirely devoted to being a homemaker, is that term outdated? Possibly. I don't know. If you're entirely dedicated to being at home, or if you're in a season where being at home is and just maintaining your home day to day, making sure that your kids are thriving, that your family is healthy, and that is what you focus your entire day on, you should not be feeling any feelings about the world telling you, but you can have it all. So hang on, you're a stay-at-home mum and you're not setting up your own at-home business, you're not trying to bring in some money, you should be supported to be able to do that, because firstly, your contribution is enormous and it's a humongous load and responsibility. But second, when we're talking about empowering women, particularly from the angle of to be the best mums we can be, I really feel like the most empowering thing you can do is to support a woman to just go all in on whatever it is she feels is right for her. The ideal version of motherhood for me is women being collectively supported. Actually, the ideal version of motherhood doesn't just involve the support of women. The ideal version of motherhood is the village. And when I talk about the village, I think a lot of people focus too heavily on how the village benefits mothers and children, because the village is not just mothers and children. The village is young people, old people, men, women, everything in between. The village benefits everybody. The village benefits from everybody, if that makes sense. So I think My ideal version of motherhood is literally just being empowered by the collective and empowering the collective and bringing our best selves into the collective, but also bringing our best selves for our own lives and for our children. If women stop trying to do it all, because we by now know doing it all is impossible, and we instead honed in on the things that made us feel whole, that made us feel ourselves, we were able to prioritize our health, our mental and physical health, connect with our families, connect with our support systems, with the people around us, then I think there'll be so much more space for everyone to thrive. This is why I constantly talk about dropping the ball on purpose, because dropping the ball on purpose and allowing yourself to not be across everything, because it's not possible, is when you can then refocus your time and energy into the things that make you you, and to the things that make you feel whole. Work towards your goals, explore creativity, and it doesn't have to be for money-making purposes. It's just the things that make you you. Dropping the ball on purpose means acknowledging that you are not responsible for everything. You cannot possibly be across it all, and nor should you be expected to be. If you're a mum listening to this and you are just wrecking your brain working out how to try to be on top of everything, you are looking for every hack in the book about how to do things quicker and how to be across more things and how to be more organized. Trust me, that's me on every other day. I'm trying to work out ways to get everything that I seem to be responsible for done, or everything that I feel responsible done. If you are one of those mums who are really struggling with that, I just want you to remember that you can't do it all. I hope that's liberating, because it's very liberating for me to acknowledge that what I'm trying to achieve is actually impossible. It's humanly impossible. So why try? Why bother? Drop the ball on purpose and try to put your energy into things that make you feel full, whole. Try to put your energy into things that make you feel whole as a woman, because that is the best version of motherhood I can think of. That is the best version of womanhood I can think of. Your kids will notice the difference. Your kids will feel so much more inspired and so much better supported by a woman who is whole, by a woman who is thriving, than by a woman who is depleted. That's just a fact. That is a fact. There's no denying that. If you are someone who is depleted, who is running, constantly trying to keep up with life, and you are just constantly behind and frustrated and stressed out, your kids will get a worse version of you than if you leave half that shit behind, either for somebody else or for another day or for when you've got the energy to do it, and you focus on the best bits, the bits that make you healthy, the bits that make you well, the bits that make you whole as a woman. I guarantee you, your kids will get a much better version of you. I know the feeling all too well of trying to be across it all. And I can tell you, they are the times where I have paper thin patience, paper thin. They are the times where I inevitably lose track of things, or inevitably fail and drastically fail at things that I am trying to keep on top of, because it's impossible. And this is the thing that we need to understand. Because it is impossible, you will fail. You will fail at being across everything, because it is impossible. So why not choose what to be across of? Why not opt out? Opt out. Drop the ball on something that you know is okay to drop the ball on right now, because the ball is going to drop. And I've said this so many times, the ball is going to drop inevitably. Sooner or later, you're going to drop something, because it's not possible to keep it all up. So when you're doing it on purpose, you are able to choose the things that are not so important right now. And like I said, I know that feeling all too well. I have on countless occasions been impatient with my kids because I tried to have a spotless house, was at work, trying to do my best at work, drained, complete energy drained, trying to be across literally everything, do exercise, be healthy, look good, all these kinds of things, take my kids out. And there's not enough hours in the day. There are not enough hours in the day. There are not enough hours in my life to be able to do all those things. So when I talk about dropping the ball, it's not about being slack, although it might feel slack because you might feel like you're responsible for all those things. I just mean acknowledging that you can't do it all and choosing where to put your energy. And I think everyone's better off if you choose to put your energy into the things that make you whole. I hope that that message has hit somewhere and triggered a bit of thinking. From one mum to another, I'm literally giving you all the permission to make sure that you are prioritizing yourself, to make sure that you are doing everything you can in your power to be healthy and well. I don't have this down pat. Trust me, I struggle with this a lot, but I know logically it makes sense. I want you to leave a comment on this podcast episode and tell me what it is that is your one focus in life. What is it that you really, really want to be working on that makes you feel more you than ever before? And with that, I'm going to leave you with some leftovers, some food for thought. Please think about it. Like I said, comment down below and let me know what is it that makes you you, and what is it that you're going to focus on in your life, and what is it that you want to dedicate more attention to. I love you to pieces, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.